All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
This is breaking news here. Go to my iPad, please. A columnist with the Washington Post is just reporting this, putting this out. A member of the Breonna Taylor grand jury just filed a remarkable motion asking a judge to release the entire proceedings of the grand jury. The motion strongly suggests that Attorney General Cameron's public comments contradict what was presented to the grand jury. The next tweet, it essentially accuses Cameron of hiding behind grand jury secrecy requirements while misleading the public about evidence the grand jury actually saw. It asked the court to release the record in the interest of justice, transparency, and accountability. This is a scanned copy, folks, of this. I've never actually seen this before, where this member of the grand jury wants the information released. What are y'all thoughts about that?
I think it's great. You know, he really did. The Attorney General, he stood up there and, you know, that the media asked that question right away because folks wanted to know there seemed to be inconsistencies, and to have a member on the grand jury say, yeah, please release it. We want to have full transparency. It's leading me to believe, what else is AG Cameron hiding behind? You know, to have somebody on the grand jury to say it. And we do need full transparency. We need full transparency because from what I took from his statement is the grand jury came to a decision and the law is the law, which also made me upset because it's basically, are you saying that the law in Kentucky says that you can murder people in their home? So we do need full transparency. I want to know what was presented. Did he do his job properly? I'd love to see those. I'd love to see the transcripts.
This is what,
I'm sure others would.
Nia, this is what they said in here. Go back to my iPad. The Attorney General publicly made many statements that reference what the grand jury heard and decisions that were made based on what certain witnesses said. He further laid those decisions at the feet of the grand jury while failing to answer specific questions regarding the charges presented. There's a compelling public interest for these proceedings to be released of a magnitude the city and Commonwealth have never seen before that could not be confined, weaving its way across the country. The citizens of this Commonwealth have demonstrated their lack of faith in the process and proceedings in this matter and the justice system itself. Nia.
So I'm piggybacking off of what Karis said, in which in order for us to have justice, we need transparency. And it's been clear by AG Cameron's actions throughout this entire case from March, his lack of urgency, that he has no interest in the protection of Black women or in justice in this case. And so I fully support what the community is calling for, which is transparency.
Then this is, so first of all, for your day of action tomorrow, where can people get more information?
So folks can follow Justice League, the Gather for Justice on Instagram, Facebook. You can go to gatheringforjustice.org. You can follow NY Justice League on all platforms. That's where you can find what you can do if you cannot strike, the colors that we're wearing in solidarity, where we're meeting up, a list of our partners. Our partners are partners from across the country, actually, not just here in New York State and in New York City. So you can go to NY Justice League on all platforms, gatheringforjustice.org. Find out how you can participate in tomorrow's action. All
right, then. Karis and Nia, I certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Roland.
Thank you very much. Rena Shaw, this is a shocking statement that's been dropped by a grand juror. I can't recall the last time seeing a grand juror seek a motion for their transcripts, recordings, and reports to be released to the public.
This is absolutely unreal. I think, you know, a lot of us who follow this so closely know that this very thing had every chance of not happening. But what I know is that the political will is changing because the pressure has been so great from the public. And that's how these things, you know, change happens, not overnight, right? We have to have small steps like this take place. But I still wouldn't be too sure that literally we have political officials sitting in Kentucky right now devising schemes of how to end this. And this is really big. So, you know, look, anybody who has felt that it's been such a long road for Breonna Taylor know that the fight is still alive. We have to keep raising our voices for her. We have to keep saying her name. We have to pressure public officials to do the right thing so that the political will changes. This is a perfect example of that, Roland. I just could not be more surprised, but feeling really, really encouraged about the future. I really have no more words. I'm so in shock.
This is a huge development here, Mustafa.
Yeah, well, everyone knew something wasn't quite right. And now you have the opportunity to see the additional information that so many people were curious about. And we also know that there was some window dressing that was done when they roll out certain folks to give us the message that they know is going to be so impactful. So I'm looking forward to diving into what's going to be shared in this transcript.
Public interest spreads across the entire Commonwealth. Back to my iPad. When the highest law enforcement official fails to answer questions and instead refers to the grand jury making the decisions, the interest of the individual grand jurors is parallel to the public, but also manifests as fear of persecution, condemnation, retribution, and torment. Unfortunately, they do not get to hide behind any entity, person, or office.
Wow. You know what else?
I mean, basically, they're blasting cameras saying, "Oh, you're making public statements saying, oh, the grand jury." They're like, no. That's not what happened. But by law, they can't say what happened because grand jury testimony is secret.
Let me just say, I have never seen anything like this. You know, I've never seen anything like this, where a grand juror is, in essence, suing in order to release the proceedings so that they can prove to the public the inconsistencies with what, in this case, the attorney general or the prosecutor, the case that they laid out behind closed doors. This, as far as I know, at least in my lifetime, this is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like that. Secondly, it shows me, once again, how important it is to be a registered voter. Because if you're not a registered voter, you can't sit on any juries, including a grand jury, okay? And so what this shows us is there was someone on that jury who sat there and went through the proceedings and then saw the inconsistencies, in other words, the lies that this attorney general showed the public and said, hold up, wait a minute, that's not right. Let's do something about this. We need to make this right. That doesn't happen unless you are empowered to be one of those people in that position. The reality is, lastly, really quickly, is that grand juries can only make decisions based upon the specific evidence and the specific tilt of the argument that the prosecutor brings before it, okay? And so if they were given information in a very sort of tilted and very prejudiced way, it's not surprising to me that they came out with the outcomes that they did. What this person is doing is calling and questions the motivation and the veracity of this attorney general, which to me definitely needs to be called out, because we know that this was a police department that lied on the police report, claiming that there was no one injured in terms of that raid, that also tried to get Breonna's ex-boyfriend to lie about her in death by trying to bribe him with being able to agreeing to let him get out of prison and not serve 10 years if we were to sign a plea deal saying that Breonna was involved with his criminal activity in which he refused to do. They have been lying throughout this case. And I am shocked, but I am certainly heartened to see one of those grand jury members stand up for Breonna, call out this attorney general and say, you are lying. You need to be honest with the public. Release those transcripts now.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.